Hi and welcome back to my channel, you guys. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Mine was peaceful. I got stuff done, got plenty of rest, so I can't complain at all. So this morning I got up as usual. I got to the gym. Now I'm gonna lie, I was moving a little slow this morning, so I didn't get to the gym until about 12:30ish, but hey, I got there, so that's all that matters. Got my workout in, so I split up my workout today just because I knew I didn't have enough energy to try and do my squat program in the squat rack and then go and do my squats on the hack squat machine. So I just split up my workout. I warmed up with 155 for 8 reps or 7 reps, and then I went in the squat rack and I did 175 for 7 reps, 3 sets of that. Then I went over to the hack squat machine and I did 3 sets with 110 for, I believe it was 7 or 8 reps. And so I love it because I was able to take my depth below parallel in the squat rack. I'm sorry, not the squat rack, because I always do that, but on the hack squat machine. Last week I was kind of hovering at parallel, if not a bump above it, so I was able to get deep with my hack squat. And so I think I'm gonna go up 5 pounds next week, because my goal is to keep those deep. And I think what it will do, it will also help me with my depth in the squat rack. Not that I have a problem with it, but every little bit helps. So my workout went great today. I have no complaints at all. Then I got in my 40 minutes of cardio and went home, and so now I'm up again and I'm headed to my sister's house because I am on daddy watch duty today. My dad's doing great, but he's still not quite ready to be by himself like all day, but he's getting there slowly but surely. He really is getting there. And you can go out for a couple of hours and he'll be fine. And so I'm on my way. I'm teleworking today because I'm not off, but I am going to work from my sister's house. That way I can be there and get my dad's lunch together, help him up, get up to get dressed and all that kind of good stuff. So today's car vlog conversation is all about stop living for other people. And I hope you guys can see me. This sun is horrible, so I'm kind of fading in and out. Let me see if I open up the sunroof for that to help. Well, not really. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see me okay. If not, you can hear me. So today's conversation, like I said, is all about stop living for other people. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I was watching something a few years ago, and I don't know if it was on YouTube, if it was on Oprah, Dr. Phil, or Who Show, or I think, I think it was on the Food Network channel. I'm almost certain it was on the Food Network channel, where there was a guy whose parents were attorneys, both mom and dad. So of course, when he got older, it was already predetermined, at least in their minds, that he would become an attorney as well. So he went through the steps, graduated high school, went to college, graduated, went to law school, opened up his own firm, did very, very well. And then he decided, and I can't remember how he came to that conclusion, but he made a decision that he was going to live his dream. And he had always wanted to own a bakery because his brother had mad baking skills as well. And so he had decided that he'd always wanted to own a bakery. And so he was going to go ahead and start living his dream. And so that's what he did. He sold his firm and opened up his bakery. Now, mind you, his mom and dad didn't know right away. And he finally told them, I think he had been doing it for maybe a year or two. I want to say it was like 2 years. He had been running his bakery successfully. And then he finally invited his mom and dad out to visit him because he was living in San Francisco. They came out and, he sat them down and said, basically, Mom, Dad, being an attorney was not my thing. That was something that you all wanted for me. I've always wanted to own a bakery, so I sold my practice. I think he said like almost 2 years ago, and I've been running my business successfully ever since. Well, needless to say, the mom and dad was not very happy at all. Not at all. But I love the fact that, he stood his ground and said, look, this is really what I want to do. I only became an attorney because that's what you all wanted me to do. That's not what I wanted to do. So that came back to me a few days ago, and I'm not even sure why, but it did. And I said, you know what, I want to talk about that because I think too many times we tend to live for other people. And so you might be thinking, well, Michelle, what do you mean? Well, when you do stuff because it'll make somebody else happy, you're living for someone else, especially if that thing doesn't make you happy. Now, if it only makes them happy, you're living for them. You are living your life for them. And I think a lot of times parents tend to do this when they did not achieve the goals that they wanted to achieve in life. They tend to want their children to do all the things that they didn't do. And I think that's why some parents push their children to get into sports and different fields, because it's something that they always wanted to do, but for whatever reason did not do it. And so you're now living through your child. And I just wanted to encourage you guys to stop allowing people to do that to you. If your family and your friends, your significant other even, wants you to do something and that's not what you truly want to do, stand your ground and say, no, that's not what I want to do. This is what I really want to do. If I do that, I'm going to be making you happy, but I'm going to be unhappy. And the goal here is not for you to be unhappy. Now, unfortunately, there are going to be some unhappy people along the way. We get that. That's just life. There's nothing you can do about that. But you don't need to be unhappy trying to live somebody else's dream. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. And being a single mom, there were some things, I won't lie, that I wanted my daughter to do that I didn't do. And one of which, honestly, was to go into the military. Now, I had the option to do that. But when I went and talked to that recruiter, and they were like, well, you're going to have to sign custody over to one of your parents. I said, oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not doing that. Not that my mom or dad would have ever, taken custody of my child, not giving her back. But, when I heard the recruiter say that, I just decided, you know what, nope, I'm not doing this. And then I thought about having to leave my daughter to go to basic training, and then you don't know where you're going to end up after that. It was just too scary for me, so I didn't do it. So honestly, I always wanted my daughter to go into the military. Now, she actually did go talk to a recruiter a few years ago, but unfortunately, the Air Force couldn't take her because she had visible tattoos on her arm. Needless to say, she was a bit in her feelings and kicked the sign outside of the recruiting office. And I was like, really, Nick? Why would you do that? But she was in her feelings because of that. And so because of the way things are going nowadays, I'm kind of happy that she didn't go. But that was something that I had wanted to do, and I was trying to project that off onto her. And so that's why I said we all have fallen victim to doing that, where we want our kids to do certain things that we didn't accomplish. And sometimes, and I've actually seen this where a parent has wanted their child to go to a certain college, and that's not the college that they wanted to go to. And in fact, they weren't interested in going to college at all. But the mother kept pushing it because, you know why? Then she could brag to all of her friends about, oh, how my baby is going to, I almost said the school, but I'm not going to say it, how my baby is going to college, and, bragging to, because I actually worked with, the young lady was a good friend of my sister's, but I worked with her mom. And so, she was walking around the office bragging about her daughter going to this school, but that's not where she wanted to go. She wasn't interested in going to college at all. So that's why I said, just be careful about trying to project. Y'all, this son is a mess. Trying to project your stuff onto your children, and not just your children, to other people in your family. There are sometimes, as adults, your friends will want you to do certain things. They're not things that you want to do, but they will project that onto you, and you do it because you don't want them to be angry with you. But honey, let me tell you something. You can get mad, get glad, beat your feet, slap your hands. It doesn't make me any, never mind. If it's not something that I truly want to do, I'm not doing it, period. Just period. Live life for you. Live life on your terms. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to bid you good day. But as long as you're living life and you're not hurting anybody, and God is pleased with you and the choices that you're making, honey, live your life. Stop worrying about what other people are going to think and what they're going to say. Live your life. You have to do that. You really, really have to do that. You can't always worry about what other people are going to think or they're going to say. Now, if you're out here, you're a cruddy person and you're doing cruddy stuff to folks, then yeah, you might want to check yourself. And if you know that God is not pleased with your behavior, yeah, you need to check yourself. But as long as you, like I said, are living right, God is pleased with you, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people think. So if you, and that even comes, like I said, not just with friends and family. It could be somebody that you're dating or you're married to. Well, I consider married to being family, but it could be somebody that you're dating. Sometimes you're dating people and they don't like the choices that you make. And they say, well, you know, you have this job, but I really think you should be doing this. And you have to say to them, look, this is where my heart is. This is what can I do better or do more? Maybe, but this is where my heart is right here. So this is what I'm going to do. Because again, when you change the way you dress, when you change the social circles that you hang out with, when you change the places that you go, the people that you talk to, for somebody else, you're now living for them. You're not being true to yourself. So I want you all to really focus on being true to yourself, doing what makes you happy. I know that God, because God and I, we talk all the time. Sometimes I think he gets tired of hearing my voice. But we talk all the time, and I'm always talking to God saying, Lord, you know, I really would like to do this. And if it's your will, let it be. But if it's not your will, then you know, let it not work out. Because what I don't want to do is jump out there and do the things that I want to do, and then it doesn't work out. And that's not just with my business and with my personal life. I'm sorry, it's not just with my business and my work life, it's with my personal life as well. Lord, if this is not the person that you would have for me, let me know that, because I want to do what it is that you would have me to do. So I'm just saying, if you know the Lord, you need to sit down and talk to him and